Alex Morgan, the United States women's national team superstar striker, has been labeled many things in her career. But judging by her penchant for putting the ball in the back of the net, maybe she should be simply known as the Natural.
Cross is in front, Morgan scores!
What is the easiest thing for you to do on the field?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think soccer in general is easy. I feel like I have to focus every single day. And even though, I've scored many goals in my life, I don't think scoring's easy. I don't think being a great teammate is easy. I think that all takes work. It all takes focus. It takes being a good listener and also stepping up when you need to. So I don't know if any of it really is easy. I think it'd be easy to give up or easy to just let things go. But I'm competitive and I'm someone who wants to be the best at what I do. I really do want to be the best player in women's soccer. And so I think that takes a lot of hard work. None of it comes easy.
She sure has made it look easy. In addition to piling up goals at a rapid pace, Morgan also has scored the fastest goal in United States soccer history, just 12 seconds into a match against Costa Rica. What is it like to score a goal in front of a full house?
To score a goal in front of 20, 50, 80,000 people, it's, it puts a smile on my face thinking about it.
Alex Morgan, how about that?
Scoring a goal in front of that many people with so much on the line is a feeling that you only get a couple of times in your life.
International tournaments, most notably the World Cup and the Olympics, are when women's soccer takes center stage. Now, unfortunately, besides these events, which have multiple years in between them, there has not been a consistent high-level league for women's soccer players to compete in the United States. In 2012, that changed with the creation of the National Women's Soccer League, which has now lasted longer than any other professional women's league in the United States.
We're proud to announce that we have acquired an NWSL franchise that will play in Orlando in 2016.
The league began with 8 teams, but has since expanded to 10. Its newest member is the Orlando Pride.
We said when the time was right that we would bring women's professional soccer here to the City Beautiful and to Central Florida. And the time is right. The time is now.
I don't think there'd be any other city in the US where soccer is given the status that it is here. It's supported by the soccer people in those particular cities, but it doesn't get the profile and the status that I've seen here.
Shortly after the Pride's creation, Orlando traded for Alex Morgan, hoping she would be the cornerstone of the franchise for years to come.
I'm delighted to announce we're bringing home Alex Morgan.
What can you say about Alex? The most lethal, most dynamic, and quite simply, the best women's striker in the world today.
You play in Orlando, yet you're promoting the league. How do you do both?
Yeah, I wish there was more time in the day. But, yeah, I play for Orlando Pride, and we're getting, a great fan base, and I hope to continue to grow that fan base, and that it goes from 8,000 to 10 to 15 to 20.
Overall attendance in the NWSL continues to grow, and the future also looks bright for Morgan's home fans. The Orlando Pride's home opener broke the league's single-game attendance record. The passion for the league stems from the popularity of the U.S. women's national team, which right now is at an all-time high. In 2015, the women's squad played the most watched soccer game in the history of the United States, male or female. The popularity of soccer has been really helped by women's soccer in the United States. What does that mean to you and your teammates?
I think it's great because I think we're able to be pioneers in women's soccer globally. A lot of national teams around the world look at us and try to set their standard higher because of the fact that we have gained so much popularity, because of the fact that we actually do get paid to play our sport, whereas some national teams, their federations don't pay their players to play, at least on the women's side. So we've kind of helped lead the way in that way. So, you know, it's been great to be a part of that transformation, but also see that as a young girl and just where soccer has taken us, and the popularity of the sport just continues to grow in the U.S., both on the men's and women's side. But I do strongly believe that the popularity of this sport will continue to grow even more and kind of break more barriers if the men's national team continues to be successful and is even more successful than they currently are. I think it's really important for the men's team to continue to grow.
Dreaming big. That's next on the Game 365. Judging by the current landscape in youth athletics, one that trends more and more towards specializing in one sport, there will be less and less young girls that take the same path as Alex Morgan.
I played everything growing up, from softball to basketball to volleyball, I mean, you name it, but there was just something special about soccer that drew me to the sport, and I created great friendships over time with my teammates. I felt like I just learned a lot about myself, learned a lot how to work in the team environment, and just the sport of soccer itself, I felt like it brings people together. And when I was younger, I don't know, I was pretty athletic, so I wanted to kind of showcase that athleticism, and I thought that soccer was the perfect sport for me.
Once she chose to focus on soccer, Morgan's athleticism in combination with her work ethic made her a likely candidate to succeed. But even with all the tools, she still needed the right environment to continue to grow.
Growing up in California, there's so much opportunity to play soccer. I think I was lucky in where I lived and how much opportunity I was given to follow my dreams. I know a lot of my teammates on the national team had to play with boys soccer teams growing up because there weren't that much opportunity for girls. But for me, there was so many youth clubs that had an entire girls side of the club, and so it was great to be a part of that and to continue my passion for soccer, and then stay in California as I went to UC Berkeley for college and to continue pursuing my soccer career.
You have a lot of young ladies and probably young boys idolizing you. When you were growing up, was there somebody you idolized?
There was a lot of people I idolized. Women's soccer wasn't on TV that much, and so when I watched the '99 World Cup for the first time, when I think I was around 10 years old, I was just in awe of these women. You know, they were amazing, and so that's when I really started to follow the women's team. Before that, I didn't really have many female athletes that I really followed, because women were on TV as much as men, weren't kind of as accessible as men were in terms of going to sports events in the LA area or whatever it might be. So, you know, I really followed the Lakers when I was younger. You know, I loved Muhammad Ali when I was younger. There was so many sports idols, but it wasn't until I was 10, 11 years old that I really started to gravitate towards female athletes in soccer, specifically Mia Hamm, Christine Lilly, even Abby Wambach when she got on the team. I just loved what they stood for and loved what they fought for, and I felt like the sport of soccer continued to grow and become more popular, and it was because of these women.
Representing one's home country on the international stage is a level that only a small percentage of aspiring athletes are able to rise to. But as it turns out, it was something that Morgan always planned on achieving. You went through college and you got out a semester early, where a lot of athletes spend a couple more years after their 4 years in college. Why'd you do it so fast?
Sometimes I'm a good planner, and at that point, I knew that the Women's World Cup was in 2011, which was when I was supposed to graduate. And so 2 years before I even was called into the national team, I started planning to be done early in case I made the team for the World Cup. And it all worked out, luckily, but I knew from a young age I wanted to play professional soccer, and college was a stepping stone to do so, but my parents put so much emphasis on academics growing up that I felt like it would have been a disappointment not to graduate. And so kind of a way for me to pursue my dreams and to make my parents proud, I had to graduate early, and so I made it happen.
Starring outside the lines. That's next in the Game 365. In addition to starring on the field, Alex Morgan is a force off it. Her popularity has opened doors to many endorsement deals, and the time she spends concentrating on other ventures besides soccer is substantial. How do you manage everything?
I try to manage everything in a way where my priority is soccer, and anything that takes away from that, then I feel like I don't want to sacrifice my play on the field for something that's not worth it. And my family and soccer come first, and after that, I feel like I need to prioritize. And with soccer, unfortunately, you know, we do make a good living, but I make most of my money outside of soccer with endorsements, with appearances, whatever it might be. And that's not the way it is in men's sports and in baseball and soccer, basketball, whatever it might be. So it's also a lot of time management. It's a lot of balancing, making sure that you're not kind of getting drowned with it all and that you're not getting stressed out. But it's difficult sometimes. I feel like you find a couple weeks where you just want to relax, but at that same time, you get these great opportunities off the soccer field to do things, and you want to pursue that as well because that's going to make you more money than an entire year of playing soccer. So it's definitely difficult, but I have a lot of my family behind me supporting me and helping me out with those decisions, and that helps a lot.
And you've been outspoken as a spokesperson for women's soccer on a professional level in the United States. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I have my hands in a couple different things that just continue to try to increase the popularity of the sport, but also to relate to young girls. I have right now 6 kids books out called The Kicks, and it actually got picked up for a full season on Amazon, so that just was released. A lot of young girls are really into that show now, so it's really exciting for me to see everything displayed and kind of take that chance and be rewarded as well. Also, it goes to the NWSL, which is our professional league here in the U.S., and continuing to grow the game and continuing to make this league more and more professional, and trying to compare that to some of the men's leagues, both the MLS and men's leagues outside of the U.S. So we're, taking baby steps, but it continues to grow, and I feel like there's a big responsibility on the players' shoulders because we have to carry some of that weight, whereas I feel like our male counterparts, they play the sport that they love and things are already in place for them. So I think there's a lot of responsibility on our shoulders to do a lot more than just play the game we love.
Even with the added burden, the women's national team has had a lot of success in its brief history. In fact, the United States had medaled in every single World Cup and Olympic tournament in women's soccer history until 2016, when it lost in the quarterfinals of the Olympics.
2016 in the Olympics was devastating for this team, and we had high expectations for us to make it all the way and come back with a gold medal. And to not even medal was heartbreaking for this team. And moving forward, it's going to take some time to get over that, but the great thing about this team is that everyone is so competitive that we're always looking forward, looking forward to the next tournament in 2019, which is the World Cup, and then 2020, which is the next Olympics. And it seems so far away, and it is far away, but that's where we need to put our efforts and focus, because that's the next major thing for us. And there's so much time between now and then that we could continue to evolve as players ourselves and with the NWSL, but with the national team, we have to look forward. You know, we can't dwell too much on the fact that we didn't even bring home a medal in 2016.
Women's soccer has been embraced in the United States. Does that give more pressure when you do go to the Olympics, where the spotlight is on United States women's soccer?
I think when the spotlight is on us, it definitely adds pressure, but I think it's been worth it in the end. I think the reward has definitely been worth the risk along the way. And so I feel like the high expectations that we've set for ourselves, that this country has set for us, I mean, winning the World Cup in 2015 was something that I'll always remember, you know, in that moment, what it felt like. And then at the same time, I'll always remember, you know, losing that game against Sweden in the quarterfinal and not making it to a medal match. So sometimes it's really hard, but at the same time, you have to face it as it is. And I think for us, we haven't shied away from answering those questions. We've been very open with how we felt in the Olympics. And I think just going from such a high in the World Cup to a defeat like the Olympics, it's tough, but I also think that we'll bounce back and there'll be many more gold medals in our future.
Growing the NWSL. That's next on the Game 365. The NWSL is the highest level of competition for female soccer players in the United States. And in addition to concerning themselves with putting a quality product on the field, the league stars also put a lot of emphasis on connecting with their fans. You guys are accessible. Where a lot of sports, the players aren't accessible. Is it a conscious effort?
Yeah, we make a huge effort to be accessible to our fans, and especially the young girls and boys who look up to us. We stay after games to sign. We take pictures with them. I don't know if you see any men's team in any sport really get out their Sharpies and sign for 10, 15, 20 minutes taking selfies. I've become professional, like so good at taking selfies, because I take at least 20 to 50 to 100 a day. The sport of soccer is a great sport for fans, and you want to create a great environment, and that's not only marketing to young girls and boys, that's marketing to the typical 20 or 30-year-old who wants to come to the game and have a beer and enjoy their Saturday night or their Sunday afternoon. So I think that there's marketing strategies for this league that needs to be put in place to market both things, because that little girl isn't going to come to games week in and week out. They have their own youth soccer to attend to, but it's that casual fan that we really want to market to, and we want to put good product on the field so they keep coming back and see that it's such a great environment that they want to spend their Saturday night doing that.
Most players, like you said, a baseball player, you show up, you play, you leave. Basketball player, same thing, football player and other sports. But the women's soccer, I think more than any other sport, has said, okay, we're going to do this. How tough is that?
I don't think it's just women's soccer. I think a lot of women's sports have to take on more responsibility than their male counterparts. But it is not easy. You know, it's tough, because what I want to focus on is my play on the field. What I want to focus on is how I can become a better player, and how I can become a better teammate, and how our team can continue to be successful. And I feel like when you're pulled in so many different directions, and when you have the responsibility to leave the game better than you came into it in terms of growing the game, having it be more professional, inspiring the next generation through being more accessible than your male counterparts, and sharing your dreams that you had when you were younger with young girls, and writing books and whatever it might be. Yeah, that's that's not easy, and that sometimes could take the focus away from what you're there to do, and that's to play soccer and to do it the best that I possibly can. So it's difficult, but at the same time, I feel like it's also a blessing in disguise because I feel like you stay humble and, you know, it reminds you of when you were that little girl, just having that dream to play professional soccer. It brings you back to that time. It kind of keeps you grounded.
Giving her the respect. Crosses in front, Morgan scores!
The NWSL's hope is that all the hard work by its stars will continue to grow women's professional soccer in the United States. Where do you see the Women's Professional Soccer League going right now?
Well, I think it's going to take a while, but I hope it's, you know, comparable to the MLS. I hope that it's a pioneer for women's soccer leagues around the world. There's women's leagues around the world that have much more of a foundation than the NWSL, but I hope that with the pay, with the professionalism, with all of that, that just continues to grow. And so, you know, my hope is after this 4th year that the league reevaluates itself and puts in place, you know, a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan to see where they need to grow and what's going well and what's not going well. And, you know, it's kind of a fine line that you have to walk because you want the quality of the league to continue to stay high, but you also want to expand the league when it's hot. So it's, I think it's a fine line that you have to balance, and hopefully the league is considering all of that right now.
Alex Morgan trying to chip the keeper. Goal!
We also have to be realistic with our goals, and I think for me it's just taking every opportunity to continue to grow this game and to evolve as a player for me as well, because I feel like there's still a lot left for me in this game, for me on the soccer field, and I want to continue to prove that.